First of all, the rendering is really nice. Congratulations. I really love the idea of exploring a lot of also button designs. You see, there are a lot of them. And then in the end, Jesus said, okay, I will go on with this one because this one is also is connecting all these topographic organic shapes. And then we have this shape, which is a very futuristic architecture, I guess, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, okay. So I see where you're coming from, and that's also important to apply what you see on your mood board as a concept, as forms that I can see it, like you have these two images that capture the most. So what you did is you carried them, one of them on the lateral side, and then you have this more like organic topographic inspiration, which is also very good for basketball because we always have these cut micro textures, but this is not really for playing basketball. This is more like a basketball, 90s basketball inspired, but I see it more like an urban sneaker, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I was kind of just blending both,
Yeah.
like performance with kind of like urban lifestyle.
Yeah, you can still play basketball, of course. You can, like be in the court outside, do your stuff because it's very cushioned and it's, like it goes really high on the top line, so it's gonna really make the protection on your lateral side for sure. This part, which is really very sucked in, the shank here,
Mhm.
you can show it on the lateral design as well. In this area, you can give much more shadow so
Okay.
that you show also this is popping out and then this is getting in and then this is popping out again because it's really very narrow shank here.
Okay.
Okay, you could also do a little bit less if you want on this side at least so that it reflects only this little thing here. Now but it can also be like this because it is really sucked in. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just I don't see it here, just here. You can give a little bit of more emphasis, on the shadow. And other than that, the distances are correct. The second material that's captured in is placed well. There is nothing wrong. Everything is correct. And the compression molding, I would keep it only on the rubber on this part. I think the rubber split is here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's compression molding, it's fine. You don't, yeah, it is rubber, so it has to be compression. But then the EVA midsole, a multicolor EVA foam midsole is going to be injection molding because we don't have the budget problem. So it's going to be, like it would be best if it's, high density on the black part and then lower density and squishy in the yellow zone so that it is captured inside. It's not going to collapse.
Yeah, I have a
And
question with that. So
yeah,
with like the yellow zone, how I have like that texture?
uh-huh.
Would that happen within the injection molding or would it
Yeah,
be after? Right.
sure. It's going to be done, like injected one over another in the same machine. Usually that's what is done. It's like co-injected. So that's why we don't have the glues and stuff. But still, after 22 years now, I think it's 21. Yeah, it's 21 years finished. And I still ask to the technicians. So every time we make a project, we give our design and we have to expect the feedback just to say, okay, am I in the good limits? What about here on the toe? Is this, like really too small? Or maybe I should open it up a little bit more. Or maybe I should close it on the toe side. It would be easier for them to inject it because in this area we have very close three parts, right?
Yeah.
That could be a little bit dangerous, but I don't go and do the mold technician myself because my philosophy is always I'm going to design as close as possible to the factory ready with the sections and everything, but I'm going to push a little bit.
Okay.
Like I'm going to be a little bit disturbing and I want to impose my design as much as possible so that they will try to find a way to solve this problem and just not escape to the easier solution for them. So it's kind of there is always a little bit of friction between the designer, the mold maker, and the sole producer.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should come to the sweet point where all of us are satisfied. So that's why I don't tell you, oh, it's okay. I think it's better you close this because then we will have that. And then maybe you should give 2 millimeters more here. It's a safer. But I say, no, I will just send my design. They are very much in the limits. There is not a big problem here. They may say 1 millimeter more, and you will say, fine, 1 millimeter more, it's fine, right? So these are the communication when you are doing. So try to be flexible with what they say but what you want. So another thing is, I'm getting very into the details. The color dams too close to the perimeter are very dangerous all the time, because we have a roundness around here always. It doesn't go 90 degrees. I can see on the design that it is kind of round, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how would I just like make it a little smaller or
No, color downs too cool. Here I have done, I will send also this file, you will have it. On the round edges, it will create problems. Stay 6 to 7 millimeters far away from the edge. You will just, like take one in, stay a little bit away,
Mhm.
just a little bit. Because if it was like a tennis shoe, like a Stan Smith, the problem is less because it goes really like without too much roundness. It just touches the ground like a skate sole. So you can stay also 5 mm from the edge, the first color dam.
Okay.
But here I would go like 6, 7, because there is the roundness, and the color dams on the roundnesses are really very, very dangerous. So we are with you, since your design has nothing to, like to object or anything. It's all beautiful and everything is correct. I'm getting into the very, very details now, which you will use in your work life. Okay.
Thank you.
These designs, they can also go up to the other side, right? They would leak into the lateral design, some of them. Like, for example, this one that could leak into the lateral side, and the back of your sole could be yellow in this one as well. But then these, they should have more, all should have a little bit more distance. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Do
you.
you does anyone have other questions?
It was pretty much about like how I would go about executing like the molding. You pretty much
Uh-huh.
answered it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, like everything is quite correct. The things that I have told you is something that the mold makers would say, and most probably in this area we can have some questions
Yeah.
in this area. So
Understood.
what you can do is you can just finish it before it turns to the other side, and but maybe it's not a problem. Maybe you will need more material. You can go and do a little bit less toe spring maybe, and open it up a little bit, but then the proportions will change. You will not like it. There comes the moment to decide if to close it and keep the slim toe line, or just to open it up a little bit. You can do your considerations also by simulating them.
Yeah, 'cause I was pretty much following kind of like the guideline on the
Yes.
sheet that you sent us on the
Yes.
last. So that's
Mhm.
kind of how it came out very like super thin on the toe.
Yeah, you're in the limit. You can still go down, but it looks sexier this way, right? When
Yeah.
it's a chunky sole, to make the toe really like chunky, it looks really, it looks a little bit heavy.
Okay.
Now it's okay. Like I have given, and thank you for the line, because that is something sometimes missing in the designs. The ground line.